Hello. Hello, anyone? Yes, I can see people coming in. Right. Hello, everybody. We're gonna wait for a couple of minutes to see everybody. Okay, just to make sure everybody's got time. Can you please use the chat feature, please? Just to say hello, to say who you are. Yes, where are you at the moment? Are you in the UK? Where about the UK? Are you, overseas? And just say hi. It's such a pleasure to see you here. We got 15 people. Oh, lovely. Hi. Lovely, lovely. I'm in the UK. Lovely, lovely. So please use the chat. There are a lot of people signed up, but I know that some people will probably, oh, wow, from Dubai. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. From Birmingham. Lovely. But I'm afraid I'm aware that some people will want probably to watch it later on. Anyway, so I'm just giving a couple of minutes for everyone to come in and we'll get started. If you got any questions over the course of the presentation, can you please use the question and answer feature over there rather than the chat. And of course, I love that you interact with each other. So if there are anything there that you like, that you don't like, what, can just say, why do you think you would like to do it? Say, have you tried it? Why haven't you liked it? It would be absolutely fantastic for everybody to know your thoughts. And I always learn a lot from everybody in the chat because we are learning every single time. And I think we're going to get started now. Okay, I'm aware of the time. And okay, so I'm going to start. Okay, I can see, yeah, 22 people, no more people coming in. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. Okay, and then let's get started. Yes, let's talk about project-based learning in MFL, because obviously we've learned a lot and we talk about a lot about teaching and learning and about how to learn the language and about the short-term memory and the long-term memory. But sometimes we tend to forget sometimes that actually how important is the culture as well. So today what I'm trying to show you is how the culture and the teaching and learning, they all can get together, how project-based learning can be extremely motivational for the students indeed in particular. So let's get started. First of all, I would like to do just a little poll for the people who are here using Mentimeter here. Can you, hopefully will come up online in a minute, okay? But the idea is why you join Menti.com, and that is your code. Can you tell me why to do projects? Obviously, you're here because obviously you want to do projects. Can you tell me what are the benefits of projects, please? And if you could do that, that would be absolutely fantastic. So you go to www.menti.com, okay, that you got in your screen, and then you use the code 43246142. You should be able, just very, very, very quickly, can you tell me why to the projects? What is your rationale? Why would you like it? What you think? Okay, of course, the chat is great as well, but I would like to see in the screen where everybody says why to do projects. Okay, what is your rationale? Okay, so I'm just waiting for, I love it. Learning autonomy motivation, absolutely. More things. You just can tell me what do you think are the benefits of projects? Why to bother with projects? Enrichment and creating a global outlook in learners. They can take ownership. I absolutely agree with that. Okay, absolutely agree with that. Memorable experience. Oh, I definitely love that one. And that's what I'm talking today. It's about, the experience, absolutely. And why is that it's the experience? Absolutely. And because it's an experience, it's also motivational. Bring language to life, absolutely, which is logged. It goes very well with memorable experience. To bring languages to life, exactly. Uses the language in different contexts, absolutely. So it's not just allows us to be creative with the language, to immerse students in their cultural language learning, to have fun, language learning is about more than vocab, grammar, and phonics? Absolutely. That's what I mean. That sometimes we just, so because of the new GCSEs, everything I'm hearing is teaching and learning grammar. And what about the culture that comes in there? And what about doing something with the language real? Okay, so I get an idea there. Thank you for your contribution. That's absolutely right. And for me, the reason why I like it, and it's about making memories. That's my main thing. And I always think about a football match. And if you think of Ronaldo, or even if you got children that play football, and you ask them, what is the most memorable thing that you could remember from your football career? I mean, they will say something like, oh yes, the time when we were in the World Cup, or the time when I was with my friends and we were playing against this particular team. Hardly anyone will say to you, unless it's something very, very funny, something very special, will say, oh, actually, yes, when we were coaching. And this is exactly what happens with languages. What we do in the classroom is really important, but that is the coaching. It's necessary. Without the coaching, you cannot play the football match. However, everything is about playing the football match, meaning making memories. And for me, working with projects is like our football match, allows us to put the language that we are learning into context. So it's our big football match in a way. However, there are difficulties. And this, for me, the difficulties I found talking to people and from my own experience. You may have different ones or even more than these ones. First of all, it's time, because we get, oh my God, we need to learn all these particular, syllabus. We do have the GCSE, and we feel constricted by time, and we sacrifice things like projects. Not having the language to tackle the project. I think that sometimes we find that, especially with key stage 3 learners, beginners, and we'll say, well, actually, we cannot really do projects. And then because they don't have the language, they cannot discuss many things. And then obviously, because they don't have the language, they go into Google Translate. And then we've done all these things. What a waste of time. Okay, we'd rather stick to the things that we can talk about, which is our house, whatever. And that is basically the 3 things in there. So the key question is, I think, very important, how to make the project successful, considering these elements there. And for me, it's about the learning journey. So first of all, the projects need to be embedded in our schemes of work. That way you tackle the problem of time, because so many times I've seen people doing projects at the end of the day of a term very, very, very quickly, because you got a couple of days a week, and you don't know what to do. The children are tired, and you squeeze something in very quickly, and that's not right. The first thing is to think about is, what is our project and how we're going to embed it in the learning journey. Then the learning journey will be the project. So treat it as if it was any other topic. In another topic, we want to get the students to fluency, to be able to speak about whatever topic. So now the topic, the fluency, will be the project. By the end of our learning journey, the students will be able to talk about, will have knowledge about, that's going to be the journey. And then think about all the stages that you will need the students to lead the students, and all these stages the students will need to conquer to get to the final outcome. And I think that's very important, and that's basically what we do normally with any topic. So we'll have to do modeling of language, structure production, we're going to do some creativity activities with the language that we want the students to learn. That way we tackle the issue of the students not having the language, and we tackle the issue of students using Google Translate and wasting our time. So that is a little bit, the methodology. Right, so I'm going to give you now a lot of examples of how that we can do, and how we can tailor the curriculum all the way from year 7 to, and I actually some examples as well from A level in different ways. So this is things I've done myself, or rather we have done in our department. With year 7, an example. With year 7, one of the things that we've done year after year that works extremely well is our art project. Of course, in year 7, we do colors, we do animals, we do family, and it's just perfect to do something on art and paintings, okay? So what is the project? What is the outcome? What is the fluency we want the students by the end of our 4-5 weeks that we spent on this, okay, as part of our curriculum, what is that they will have to produce? The idea will be that they will have to describe a Picasso or a Miro picture, okay, and obviously you know a little bit of Picasso, Miro, they are the abstract painters, meaning that they are quite easy, okay, to imitate. Okay, sorry if there are any art people that love, you know, that I think they're amazing, but they're very easy to really to recreate and create your own picture inspired by the both artists, and also the students will have to talk about the picture and also record them speaking about the picture that they have created. And the way we do this as well is with the art department. So they create the picture in art at the same time. Okay, so that works really well as a cross-curriculum activity. So what do we do first? First, we set up the cultural contest. Who is Miro? Who is Picasso? And of course, all this is in English. And there's not a problem with that because they're year 7. And they only been doing Spanish for a couple of months, showing samples of the work. And then normally we start with something like this. So top one is from Miro, the other one is from Picasso. And then we ask them to describe first the painting in Spanish. There are some things they will be able already to describe because year 7 by this stage, they will know colors, they will know animals. And so at this point, okay, what can you see with the language you know? Come on, a little bit of Spanglish. Okay, what are the first impressions? And they can say all that in English. And then they will do a little bit of class survey using te gusta. Te gusta and por qué. They should be able to do that because that's something we've done with other topics anyway. So that's how we set it up. Second thing that we do, then we get into the modeling stage. And this is a wonderful sentence builder from Jose Santos that we use and we adapted, which I think is absolutely fantastic particularly for this topic. So the idea is this is the vocab that I want the students to be able to use. So I'm going to use it and I'm going to treat it, like any other topic that I would teach. So that would be like, but obviously they're going to be more sophisticated vocabulary because they may want to say línea curva, línea ondulada, una estrella, óvalo, rectangular, which I think is brilliant. Also, a lot of cross-curriculum bits, links with maths as well. So we do this with all the modeling, dictation, listenings, all the things as we normally would do with a normal lesson, okay? A lot of mini whiteboard, etc. At some point as well, the students will start producing the little sentences. So one of the activities that we do, several activities, but some of the activities that we do is like the students, for example, describe different shapes, and the partner has to listen, has to draw the shapes that the partner is saying to them, all that in with mini whiteboards, or we keep on working with Miro paintings, and they have to describe the paintings, and the partners have to decide, guess which is the painting that the partner is describing to them. They may do this with a lot of translations and with wheel of names, etc., translating these paintings, etc. So all this is the normal things you would do. You're doing colors, you're doing, all animals, but you got the cultural element of it. And at the same time, this will bring a lot of practice with the students and a lot of ideas. What do you think of this? Do you like it? Is this your cup of tea, etc.? So we done this one at some point as well. And this is something we noticed. We started introducing, thanks to this, the gerund and the present continuous, which normally we wouldn't have done in year 7. Well, and this is super useful thinking about the GCSE here in the UK and thinking about the photo card. So what the students then did is basically using the pictures, we were starting, and then using other pictures at the same time, things like the woman is looking at the sea. So I would introduce it. They were actually, it's amazing how they managed to work out what the present continuous is and how it's formed. They just get it because they already know está, from estoy bien, está mal, etc. Okay, so we spend on, they work out the group themselves. They feel very clever because they are year 7, and tell them, well, actually, our year 9, 10s are working on this right now with a photo card. So that's a little bit of grammar in there. And we introduce, of course, we will need, then we spend time in looking at the different paradigms. It may be relevant or may not be relevant depending on the class, sometimes doing grammar, all under the context of the paintings. And then finally, what they do is that they create their own painting. They go to the art department, they create their own painting, they describe it, okay? And then they will also do it orally. And what we did is that then we displayed all the paintings in the school, in the corridor, in the school corridor, and with a little bit QR code with them, with the students speaking. And also we sent all the paintings as well in the school news bulletin for the parents to see. Okay, so there was like a link in there. It's like, you want to see your child's Miro's painting, here it is, speaking as well in Spanish. All right, and all that could also lead to a competition. So just to show you, but we spent about 5-6 weeks doing this. Okay, so it wasn't something that was just done by chance. Super rich. They got an idea of Miró. We also talked about Park Güell and Gaudí as well, because it's very similar, the colorful things like that. Some of the children have been to Barcelona and they said, oh, actually, yes, I've been to Sagrada Familia, I've been here. So it just came to also to, it led to discuss a lot of cultural elements. I thought it was super useful. If you go to this link at the end, because you're going to get the presentation, they will take you to the link to all the things that we use throughout the project, okay, all the actual materials, okay. So that's one of the things that we do in year 7. Year 8, when year 8, we watch a film, a short film, which is La Leyenda del Espantapájaros. But also what we do is create projects, okay, with a simple video, okay, with the topics that we are doing. And this is an idea of things that you can do with any topic. What I mean by that, what is the outcome? What is the project? To create, in this case, to create a video giving a tour of your house or your school in Spanish, okay? So this is, I give you 2 choices, but with the year 8, we did the house because that's what we created. And of course, we did all the normal vocabulary, all the normal lessons that we do, but the students knew that by the end of the module, they will have to create a video of their house. And what we did is that we then sent a video to the house to their, in a Padlet to the our students or partner students in Spain. So that was super motivating. Someone was going to listen to them. And that was really, really important, okay? Of course, you need to see the context of your school, and I'm going to be looking at that, meaning, would it be appropriate for your school, for the for your students to show their house? That's something you need to really think about. We sent a letter to the parents saying, this is what we're going to be doing, and your child will come to you one day in this particular day, and we'll have to record your house. Do you mind? Do you have any objection to it? It won't be published, but it will be in a Padlet for our partner schools to, to see. Well, there were a couple of parents that didn't want their houses to be displayed, and what the children did is like a PowerPoint point talking about an imaginary house anyway, which was quite nice as well. And this is what we did. We carried on doing the same activities we normally do. So we do a sentence builders, we would do structure practice, all the oral activities, everything that we normally do. And then at the end of the project, at the end, we just basically did the students recorded the videos. And I just want to show you an example of a child who was in year 8, who was not very able, and who was dyslexic, who basically thought, I am not good at languages, I cannot do languages, I cannot do Spanish, I cannot do French. And actually, just want to show you what he did just for 30 seconds. The idea was here as well, the students were not allowed to read from a transcript. So they have to, we have prepared them, we prepared them over 6-7 weeks with all the vocab, and they did everything from memory. And we had the parents to sign up the homework. They had to supervise and make sure that they were not reading. Okay, that was really, really important. So this is the kind of, I'm just going to show you. Hopefully it will work then. It was to give you the little thing. And remember, this is a child with a lot of issues from learning difficulties. I mean,
esto es mi casa. Vivo en un pueblo que está en el campo. Me gusta en el campo porque es bonito y grande, pero antes vivía en una ciudad. No me gusta una ciudad porque es muy pequeña y aburrida.
Okay, just to give you a little bit of flavor of what it's like. I don't expect you to look all of it. But the idea with that, I mean, it's not, sorry, just the different, yeah. The idea with that, you may think, oh, this is a year 8. There was present, there was past tense, and the child did it all by himself. And the mother actually sent an email saying, I promise, Ms. Salgado, he wasn't cheating, he did it all, and we're so proud of him. We actually couldn't believe how much he could say, and he went on then describing all the different rooms, and actually it's quite long with the video, but I thought that was absolutely fantastic. And then when I asked him, what is your goal of this, he actually said, I thought I couldn't do it, but I can. And it was really motivating to know that we'll have to do something for that child. Knowing that they had to do this video was basically the element that motivated him to learn the vocabulary, because there was something that he will have to do with the language. Okay, and there are they got here another examples when you get here the someone talking about TV program with Flip. Okay, and then the next step is to use these videos as part of a little virtual exchange project, maybe with a partner school, and then using Padlet you can then share the videos from different people. You can look then at how people live in Spain, like we live in houses in Spain, we live in flats. Why is that? What is, talk a little bit in English about the cultural aspects of it. I would say though, when you're going to do this, think about your school contest, certain projects to avoid. Maybe, okay, would you, depending on where you're living, would it be a good idea to show your house? And this is examples of video projects that you can do after doing any topic. So describing the house of Familia Madrigal, if you don't want the students to show their house. A tour of your city after the topic of tourism. Your way to school after learning daily routine, and they just recorded. News bulletin in the target language after learning about global and social issues in Key Stage 4. A school tour after the topic of a school. An ideal uniform fashion show, again in Key Stage 4, so they could use we would like to, and the conditional. A documentary about a celebration. Interviewing parents, grandparents about their childhood. Fashion show. Interviewing a celebrity. So these are examples of different little projects. Not all of them are cultural, yes, but they give them a purpose, even for the GCSE students, to learn the actual the vocabulary. And the idea is that that's what you do in the lesson. So it's not something rushed that you're going to do in the last minute. And then we go to year 9. What do you do in year 9? Year 9, we do also film, and we also do a Master Chef project. Okay, so this is because we do the topic of food, and this is basically this is something actually we started doing during lockdown, and then it worked really well, and we carry on doing it the 2 years afterwards. So the first thing, as always, we need to teach them their vocabulary. So the idea was, before that, okay, what is the project? To create a video where you are cooking palmeritas, which is a Spanish typical, pastry dish, while giving all the instructions in Spanish. And then everybody will be competing with each other, and there will be a winner, like a Master Chef winner. Okay, so that's basically what the project was about. So first thing we did, teach them the vocabulary. They already knew food. They already knew, I like this, I don't like this, I eat healthily, all that kind of thing. This is year 9, but we taught them vocabulary just to give instructions of cooking. And then what I did is that I recorded myself cooking the palmeritas first. And this was wonderful, because using all this vocabulary, some extra one as well, because this allowed me to create a lot of listening activities, okay, and in contest. All right, and I thought that was very good. So just a bit just an idea.
Hola chicos, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Y lo que vamos a hacer hoy es que vamos a cocinar.
I used to get ideas, also a little bit, come on, we're going to do this or that, and then I used that for listening. So that worked really, really well. And then the students, we did then a lot of, as I said, listening, practice, mini whiteboards, all the things that we normally do. And then at the end, what they did is they recorded themselves cooking at home. Okay, some videos were not here because they were too big, and then we couldn't put them in there, and they uploaded them into a Padlet. And then what I did, and Arancha, who is my Spanish assistant, we actually went there and we were giving them a little bit of feedback. And then from everybody, we chose the best video. And then last year when we did this in class, what we did is that actually they brought the palmeritas to the classroom, and then we gave there were two prizes, one for the best spoken video, but another one for the best or palmeritas, the tastiest, palmeritas kind of thing. And this is great. Is the children basically they were not using any transcripts. Everything is from memory, using my model of a video that we're cooking. And then obviously then I asked them, cooking for your family, what your family think about it. And we talk about food, and other people talk about churros. Then another student made churros because they wanted, she brought them the next day to the lesson. So really nice activity, I thought, okay, to really put languages into contest, okay. And again, if you go click here, you will have all the materials to go with that particular activity. Then we got, sorry, actually, we're going to get here. Then we get into year 10. So in what we start doing in year 10, obviously we got GCSEs in the UK, but it's still there are things that we can do. So in year 10, what we did is a virtual exchange project. The idea here of the project is the fluency to create a virtual exchange with activities to be carried out within a day. We actually did it within 2 days because this was part of an Erasmus project as well, collaboratively with a partner school. But instead of going to Spain or going to France, we did everything with Google Meets, as you can see with the photographs, okay? And actually there was 3 schools together, a school in La Réunion from France, our school in England, and a school in Spain. So how can you plan something like this? First of all, you need to have a partner school. Once you got a partner school, decide a topic or a mini project, okay, to work on online, okay, with the partner schools. And it could be something that you're working on. You're working on, for example, the environment. You can do a little bit project with environment. If you are just it could be just a project which is going to talk about about themselves and getting to know each other. That is absolutely fine, whatever you want to. In our case, what we did is that, because this is an Erasmus project, it was about the development goals. And the idea was that we were creating a village. So you got our logo in there, an ideal village where the development goals had already been achieved. And the idea is what the village would look like, okay? And in this first meeting exchange, which we did virtually, what we were talking is we had to create the inhabitants of the village. And so we were creating the people that were living in the village, okay? And I'll show you a little bit how we did that. You need to decide what platform are you going to use to collaborate, Teams, Zoom, Google Teams, whatever it is, and then you create different activities, and then you divide the students working in breakout rooms with partners. And it was absolutely phenomenal. I would recommend it. It was absolutely great. So I just want to show you a little bit of our programming there. So what we did is that we went to so it was mobility 1. So that was it. E20 I know is finished kind of now, okay, but still you can be done with Padlet, all this. But the students had to create the inhabitants, okay, and by doing that they created that using Voki avatars. So the children in pairs, in groups of 3 and 4, they were in breakout rooms, they were given an account with Voki, and then speaking in French, in Spanish, and in English, they created avatars, and these are the inhabitants, and they gave them basically a name. They had to give them, a profession, okay, etc. And they were based basically on the partners in the group. Okay, so that was part of the things that we did. And we also look at a little bit into the circular economy with Ellen MacArthur's materials as well. Okay, but that was basically the idea, but that could be anything. I think the point here is not about what we did, but actually the benefits of it, and because anything that you do would definitely work. Okay, and I think that it is that would work very well with it. Think as well of the activities. So this is the activities that we created. So we created a program, and we were happy, we were lucky because our school gave us a day off. We have a day off to do all this. Well, actually, 3 days off, because we do within 3 days, but one, I would have been more than happy. And then actually we decided, okay, what we do, we will do the breakout rooms, and then all the students knew exactly what they had to do. Participant will contact their partners, you got to do this, then you go to this Padlet, you're creating Voki, etc. So there were very clear, instructions on what the students had to do. Okay, so it's not just something that you just went there and spent, the time in there. There is also, we did the same as well when we went to La Reunion. So we did actually 2 virtual activities. One that was supposed to be in Spain. Another one we were supposed to be in La Reunion. Here it is, again, with different activities in there. And and then the one from La Reunion, we did it collaboratively. We got the photos here. We created a tree, every person in every school, that with all the different human rights, and their human rights were written in French, Spanish, and people and in English, and the students talked about the different human rights and why some human rights were more important than others. It was part of the project. I just want to show you, some of the photographs there, everything done online, our tree, how we created it, okay, and all this, obviously, all this were done during Google Teams, so everybody could see through the camera what the other teams, the other schools were creating. That makes sense, okay? So all the time, the children were saying, "Oh, bonjour," and they were talking in French, and we're talking in Spanish, and it was that the children from La Reunion gave us a virtual tour of La Reunion using Google Earth. It just was absolutely fantastic. But again, the idea here is what you actually do with this, okay? How can you create a virtual exchange? Super rich. The attempts, they got already enough vocabulary to cope with this, I think, and it is super motivating. And this is what I mean about playing the match. This is about putting the language into action. And there was a lot of Spanglish, Frenchglish, but we didn't care at all, okay? There is a blog post here about virtual exchanges. You want to get a little bit more information on that. And then comes to the power of films. Films, I think they're absolutely fantastic, make fantastic little projects. You can watch big, long films. You can watch short films. This is some of my favorite Spanish short films, La Leyenda del Espantapájaros, that we do in year 8. Cuerdas, we do sometimes in year 9 as well, and La Huida, that we do in year 11 a little bit, okay? The idea with the film is to watch a short film or long film, learn to describe it, give an opinion, and talk about the characters, and then create a display. So it's not just about watch the film and forget about it. The idea here is we're going to watch the film, and by the end of the film, we're going to learn something through the film, and then I want you to create something with the film, okay? Which in our case is going to be like a display. All right, and this is the kind of things that I always talk about 3 pillars when we teach through films. Pillar 1 is have a clear vision of what you want the students to be able to produce after watching the film. So for us was to answer these 5 questions. This is what the project will have to incorporate, plus the cultural aspect. And we did a particular this worked for any film, really, but in this case was for Coco in year 9. We studied Coco. So have you liked the film? So basically they need to give an opinion. De qué trata, what is the film about? And here we expect the children to tell what happened in the film, either using the past tense or using the present tense. That's up to something that you need to decide. Which scene, part of the film they've loved the most, who are the characters, and where and when does it takes place. So this number 5 is really, really easy. And we spent 6 weeks watching Coco, okay, to be able to answer these questions and learning a lot of vocabulary in the process. So that's pillar 1. Pillar 2 is about the vocabulary. If I want the children to speak about that and to write about that, I need to give them the vocabulary. So we learn all this, and it was very sophisticated vocabulary. Things like lo prohíbe, direct, and they didn't have to know that was a direct pronoun, okay? But they knew that was it or him, okay? Things like that. And they learned very quickly that los is them. That's why it's highlighted. So I was planting the seed with grammar for later on. But it was an opportunity to revise the difference between ser and estar in Spanish. It was an opportunity to learn vocabulary on clothes, and also to talk about how you're feeling. All right. So it was just on the topic of family as well. So it was just a lot of lessons that we did with all these things. We created memorized courses, learning. Yeah, it was just the grammar. As I said, I spent 6 weeks doing that. And then the pillar number 3 was the cultural dimension. And we always choose films that got a lot of strong cultural dimension. So Coco, amazing for the Day of the Dead. And all that was, we did it in English because we want them to understand the concept. And we had a lot of really rich conversations about Halloween and Day of the Dead, and the huge difference between one and the other. There were ofrendas, and children created ofrendas, okay, about their relatives in the UK, which I thought that was very sweet. And so it's just all cultural element that they were learning at the same time as they were learning about the topic of clothes, and also how to describe a film. And this is basically the final product. So some of the students, just an example, they did I gave them the opportunity to do it online, to do it digitally, or by hand, and 99% of the people chose by hand. And they created wonderful posters that we put in the school, all around the school, and there was a winner as well. We actually invited the ELSAL team to come over and have a look at the display, because they also make the little ofrendas, as you saw the photo. And this writing was most of it in Spanish, including the 5 questions, and in English, talking about Day of the Dead. Other year, instead of Coco, for year 9, we've done Voces Inocentes, a very, very strong film. And we changed it to Coco, that was a little bit more, a little bit easier, shall we say, than Voces Inocentes. Voces Inocentes is about immigration, children in war, Latin America, Mexico, the other one as well, but it's about poverty in Latin America and talking about global issues, and it was absolutely fantastic as well. And then I want to show you as well how these can be done all the way to A level. Because, for example, where we did with A level, we studied Pan's Labyrinth in Spanish for A level. And what we did is this. We created this wonderful art project, because I had so very artistic children by chance in my A level class. And what we did is that they chose the best essays. So these here, that's why, all these are essays that all of them basically wrote in Spanish in preparation for the exam. But we made the essays into a display of Pan's Labyrinth. And I thought that was, I really liked that. I thought that was, the children loved it. They felt really appreciated. And they made that the essay writing very purposefully. And they loved writing essays because they knew, oh my God, we're going to use it for a display. So that's a little bit of how you can do it all the way from year 7 all the way to year 13, to year 12 and year 13. Finally, I just want to talk as well about the extracurricular dimension, and how it's not only about doing projects in your lessons that you can embed, which is wonderful, but also I think you need to have the concept of the march, okay, should also be in your departmental vision. And our vision, our selling point is, let's take languages outside the classroom. Everything that we do is to create experiences, either fake experiences in a way, because we are in the UK, or real experiences as much as we can. So, for example, things that can be done outside the classroom to really support this idea. MFL lunches, which is, you got the photo here. Okay, so every month, people get invited to have an MFL lunch, and it's with French, Spanish, and German food. And the condition is they can only speak in French, German, Spanish. English is forbidden. And we invite the sixth formers to lead that as well. British Film Institute, absolutely fantastic for to take children to film days if you got the money. But they also run virtual activities and virtual half days or nowadays based on films. Having a program like the language leaders by roots into languages. So you got some students, we do this in year 10, that actually create activities for the little ones, and they take the initiative of creating or helping the MFL department, okay, to really to run the extracurriculum program. An international week where the whole week, the whole school, okay, is involved in the celebration of languages, and this works extremely well if you got students from different, from different heritage languages. It's a celebration. Okay, you can plan different activities. Debating competitions, that works really well, that you can do it in-house, but then you can invite other different schools. This works really well in June for year 10. You do something in November for year 11, and of course, brilliant for year 12 and 13. Debating, play productions. I mean, like Onati, you got the money. Onati productions are really good. Drama competitions where the students actually, little sketches. It could be just 3 minutes, and they just perform it in front of an audience, like in assembly. Poesia recitation competitions that Jerome knows, like used to run. He will run it again next year, by the way. T-shirt and logo competitions, we do that as well a lot. And the idea is that the students create a logo, okay, and it could be a logo because because of European Day of Languages, about learn languages or anything that you want to, specifically about raising the profile. And then the winner, the logos that the winners, they get made into T-shirts, and they love that. Okay, so we get T-shirts, we create T-shirts, okay, using Vistaprint, we buy them, okay, we buy 4 or 5, so that wasn't that very expensive, with the logo, the logo winners. Baking competitions, end of project competitions, meaning if you do a project at the end of any topic, you can make the project into a competition. Meaning, like the video that I showed you with these year 8s, that could be everybody's competing against each other, which is the best video. So there's even a better reason to do well. Okay, a little bit like with the MasterChef competition. And at the end of the day, I think is super important to remember we are making memories. And for example, this is just a little extra that I absolutely adore from our trip to Spain. No virtual, this is a real one. We went to Spain, and we went to Spain during the carnival in February. So our students took part in the carnival. We created our own fancy dresses that were European flags, okay, in protest for Brexit. But that's another issue. That's another story. But this is what it is. We created things ourselves during the time in Spain. Just to show you the spirit, this is what about the language is about, to leave to make memories at the end of the day. That was it, really. I think I've done really well with time. I think we'll have some time for questions. This is the QR code if you want to scan it, and that will take you to this presentation that you are more than welcome to keep. And it's also my blog where you can get some more ideas. And hopefully you found that useful. I know we only have 45 minutes. It's a little bit of flavor of the things that can be done. Let's say any questions. I mean, I don't know if there were any questions and answers in the question. I think this is empty, so there's no questions, no answers. Lovely, is very love, Oh, thank you. Yes, those wonderful ideas. Thank you for the inspiration. I love this. Okay. Okay, thank you. Again, we'll fight, but I do love that city. Oh, do you, Albacete? Maybe nobody knows Albacete. But is there any questions? You still got some time, you know, to get them in there. But that's basically it is. It's quite advanced comments to start with. Okay, so this is a question in French. Collaborative agreement is quite an advanced complex to start with. How do you tackle this, please? That's a very good question, actually, through modeling. And that's why we use the sentence builders, because the sentence builders already would use el triángulo azul, el triángulo rojo. Okay, and they would be the same in French, you know, le cercle bleu, le cercle, and actually you are showing them, and they can, at the beginning, they kind of learning a little bit kind of by heart, without not knowing really the grammar that goes underneath. I don't know if you are there, Marie, but that's basically how it's done, okay? Does this allow for inclusion? It does, I think so, and that's why we use the sentence builders, and that's why it's embedded. The fact that it's embedded, and we think about all this standing in 5-6 weeks, okay? Meaning that we treat it like a normal lesson. Okay, you took a normal lesson where we have to tackle everything. Okay, and it does. I've never had an issue, just the opposite. People that were normally sometimes they're not considered to be good linguists actually do really well with project-based learning. That's my experience. But okay, okay. Would you mind showing the QR code again, please? Oh, so sorry. I don't think you already left, but I'll show it again. Some people were asking for the QR code. So if I show it again, there you are. If anyone is there and you need it, the QR code is there. Okay, thank you. Brilliant. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to read. Brilliant. It's been lovely to see you all. Well, just not to see you, but to feel you. And hopefully you found it useful. And the idea is to give you some inspiration and ideas on the things that you can do in your classroom. Not everything is about grammar, phonics, and you know, vocabulary. We need to do something with the language at the end of the day. It's about communication and real life situation scenarios. Okay, I think I'm gonna leave it here, and that's, you know, that's it. Well, okay, and that's it. I think we'll stop now, because probably you need to go to another talk. Okay, bye everybody. It's been such a pleasure to see you here. Bye.